We continue our championship cases videos today with Martin Truex Jr. He currently sits second on the playoff grid. Yesterday we did Kyle Larson, who was on top of the playoff grid. For those of you who do not know, we will be doing a championship case for all 16 playoff drivers, going down the list in order of the playoff grid as of recently, which the most recent race was Michigan, leading up to Daytona. So yeah, we will do this week. Tomorrow will be what I think Kyle Busch at the moment is third on that list, so tomorrow will be Kyle Busch, but today we are focusing on Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 19 Joe Gibbs Toyota Camry. So Martin Truex Jr. this year, he is currently second on the playoff grid, sixth in points with 3 race wins in the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. Those 3 wins are at Martinsville, Phoenix, and Darlington. Now, something very similar about these 3 tracks is that they all use the 750 horsepower package load downforce, which is the majority of the playoff tracks that we go to during the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And that is a big advantage for Martin Truex Jr. Now, unlike Larson, he does have a lot of playoff points, but he does not have as many as Kyle Larson. Now, luckily for him, it's not a 1-versus-1 battle all the way to the championship, so he does not have to worry about out-playoff pointing Kyle Larson, but he does have to worry about out-playoff pointing the ones below him. He currently, including the point standings, he is currently 6 in points, so he gets, I can't remember how many. It's like 6 or 7 playoff points from that, but he currently has 25 playoff points, and currently the 4th place driver is Chase Elliott, tied with Ryan Blaney. He only has a 7-point advantage on them in terms of the current playoff point standing. So looking at that first round, he's a little more safe, but we will get to the championship, that kind of stuff earlier. Now, Martin Truex Jr. was my preseason playoff pick to win the NASCAR Cup Series championship. And yeah, I was really confident after that first third of the year when he got all those wins, but he may not have won as much as he was earlier in the year, but he is still doing well. He's still getting top 5s, top 10s, 8 top 5s on the season, 13 top 10s. Definitely not his best season in the NASCAR Cup Series in his career, but much better than last season when they only had a single win. Now, looking at this first round of the playoffs, I expect him to get through this easily. These are all tracks, maybe not Bristol, but these first 2 tracks, Darlington and Richmond, that is, Truex loves that. Darlington, he's run extremely well at recently. He won in the spring. He was very close to winning the Southern 500 last fall, and so he's got 1 or 2 Darlington wins in his career, so I expect him to do well here. I expect him to win stages, compete for stage wins, get stage points, compete for the win in this race. No concerns there. Richmond, same thing. I expect him to win there, be up front competing for the win. He's got a couple of wins at Richmond, so I expect him to do well there. Bristol it's not a slight concern, but he has been a bit inconsistent in his career at Bristol. He has led laps there. He has won stages. He has yet to win a race at the Bristol Motor Speedway, but he's had better runs as of more recently since he's gotten into better equipment, but still at times he has struggled at the track, but I'm still not concerned about that first round. Second round of the playoffs is Las Vegas, Talladega, and Charlotte, the Roval. Las Vegas, he has a couple wins in his career. He has run well there, no matter the package, it seems like. He's got a win there in the 550 package 2 years ago in 2019. But I expect him to run well there. JGR as a whole has been running better at the intermediate tracks as of recently. So I expect Martin Truex Jr. to run well here. I expect him to be in the top 5, top 10, getting those stage points, maybe even leading laps and competing for a win. But I do expect him to do well enough here. But then this is my biggest concern for him, which is Talladega. Martin Truex Jr. and I combined for a grand total of 0 super speedway wins. Yeah, he can't find luck at the super speedways. Ever since the 2016 Daytona 500, when he was this close to getting the Daytona 500, it's been awful for him. He DNFs, wrecks, engine catches on fire, engine blows, something happens. He has the worst luck at super speedway. So likely DNF, but that's my biggest concern for him, Talladega. But then we got the Charlotte Roval, and Martin Truex Jr. is one of the best in the business at the road courses, so I expect him to run well here. Him, Larson, and Elliott have been the top 3 on the road courses all year long, so I expect him to be leading laps at this race. I expect him to be in the top 3. I expect him to be competing for the win. Not concerned about that race at all. So I do this Talladega, if he gets himself in too big of a hole, that could be a concern. But right now, he's got enough points, and he could add on to those playoff points. So I'm not too overly concerned about that second round. Looking at the third round, this is not a bad round for him. Texas last year, he finished runner-up in the fall race, so he's had good runs at Texas before, but he has not won at Texas before. I think it's one of 2 or 3 mile-and-a-half tracks he has not won at in his career, but he does have some good runs at Texas, a couple of runner-ups. He's led laps, stages, etc., etc. Not too concerned about that. But at this point, the playoff bubble will shrink a bit, and the playoff points will get closer. And if it's the same gap that he has right now, I am concerned. If he can expand that, obviously you want as many playoff points as possible in this format, but it's going to be tough when you have Kyle Larson up there, when you have your teammates like Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, when you have Chase Elliott, William Byron, all competing for these wins and playoff points. It's going to be tough, but Truex can do it. I think he can add up these playoff points. But yes, Texas, Kansas, I expect him to run well at top 5, top 10. Kansas, he has wins at the past, so I would say out of Texas and Kansas, I'd expect him to do better at Kansas. But then we go to Martinsville. Martin Truex, there's a reason it's called Martinsville. Martin Truex Jr. This is Martinsville, guys. Like, this is his place. He has been amazing at this place recently. He won here in the spring at Martinsville, did really good in that race. Last fall, if it wasn't for a loose wheel, he might have been in the championship after a Martinsville win. He won the spring race in 2020. He won the fall race in 2019. The most recent Martinsville races we've had, he has done amazing. He has dominated. He's led laps. He has won multiple races at this racetrack. As of recently, they have it figured out at Martinsville. It doesn't matter who the crew chief is. As long as Martin Truex Jr. is in that car, they figure it out. This is his race. If he wrecks on lap 1 of Texas and Kansas, this is it. This would be the race he would want as the cutoff race in a must-win situation. Obviously, you don't want to be in a must-win situation, but if he was, he would want Martinsville to be that next track because he is that good at this place, especially recently. So I have a lot of confidence in Martin Truex Jr. at Martinsville to win this race, to advance himself into the championship 4. As for Phoenix, the championship race, he won this race in the spring, his first career win at Phoenix. And the strength for him is the 750 packages this year. He's run really well at the road courses. All 3 of his wins have come with the 750 packages on ovals, Darlington, Martinsville, and Phoenix. And of course, that win at Phoenix in the spring is a big, big deal because now they know how to set up a race-winning car for Phoenix. And I think he's got a good shot at it. Obviously, he could blow a tire, turn 1, finish 4th in the standings, or the top 3 could all wreck each other on lap 1, and he gets an easy walk to the championship. So, man, this format is it's something, I'll tell you that. But, yeah, that's Martin Truex Jr. I think that first round, he's really safe in. That second round, if he can manage a top 25 at Talladega, I think he's good. And that final round, even if he has a poor race at Texas and a poor race at Kansas, he is so good at Martinsville that I think he can win that race regardless. As for Phoenix, once again, it's a toss-up with this format, but Truex has excelled at the 750 package. He has won at Phoenix. He has won at Phoenix this year, which is an advantage, which is extremely helpful. So I expect him to be there with Larson and competing for that championship. But, yeah, his consistency has been a little iffy, but I think he can get it done. I think he can win the championship. I picked him for my preseason championship, so, I mean, why not? But, yeah, Truex, get more playoff points. First round, you shouldn't be too concerned, but after that, it's going to start to get closer. That gap's going to start to close, so get yourself some more playoff points. There's no such thing as too many playoff points, but obviously, yeah, we've talked about playoff points a lot here. But thank you for watching this. Tomorrow will be Kyle Busch. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And, yeah, we'll see you for the Kyle Busch video.